secondary recovery methods. We had water floods and stream floods. Can you put that in context?
Those are kind of end of life. We're getting down to the very end of production in these wells. Imagine that you've got a group of, say, 20 vertical wells just all kind of drilled around each other, right? And all of these are producing from the same zone, and they're all sharing essentially a common source of supply. And think about downhole, like they're usually pretty well connected down there. Okay, so like the reservoir's been drained enough that that most everything's out of there. What you can do is you'll go out and there's a lot of analysis that goes into just determining which wells to do this with. But what you'll do is you'll choose maybe a couple of those wells and you'll turn them into injectors. All right, and then the rest of them you'll have as producers. So what you do is you take water, you inject it down into the injectors. It flows down through the reservoir. It flows to all of those other wells, and then you produce all of that water out of those wells. And what it does is it not just flows water with it, it also drags oil with it. So at that point, you're getting, if I remember correctly, a 1 or 2% water cut or oil cut is really what you're shooting for. So say for every 100 barrels that you pump down hole and that you recover somewhere else, you're hoping to get 1 or 2 barrels of oil out of that 100 barrels.
It does not seem sustainable to me.
Well, I mean, but the thing is like that water is you recycle your water. So you'll pump it down in those in the injectors. You get it out in the producers.
Right,
it
right,
goes
right.
to the production facilities. You separate your oil and your water, and then you pump your water back down hole into the injectors to continue the process. And so, really, what your costs are is your pump, that initial supply water, and it's never going to be 100% recovery, right? Some of it's going to go. You're going to lose some to formation that you're not producing, and so. Those are a couple of the biggest cost drivers. I mean, aside from like electricity to run your pumps and things like that.
So it's probably not feasible to then truck that produced water oil mix out because it would just be, your margins are so slim at that point of what you're recovering.
Exactly. So it's really recycling that water is really what it is. And in California, they do a lot of steam floods. So essentially, instead of sending water downhole, they're injecting steam.
Okay.
And that's working very much under the same principle. It has to be steam instead of water because the oil, I don't know if it has a lot of paraffin in it or what, but the high temperature makes it flow as well.